How you doing, sir?
Just fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing outstanding and ready to talk today. We were talking about contemplation and meditation.
It says meditation is seek and you shall find. Shall find. What are you seeking? That's what you'll find. Because, you see, the moment you start seeking something, then that sets seeking you with that idea. And as long as you stand to see the victory, you shall do so. It's really very simple, and if you'll keep it simple, you might even remember it. And if you do, you might even operate on it. And if you do, you'll get the benefits. And that's how you get them. It's exactly that way to get the benefits. And they're already there for you to claim. And that's what you're doing when you're praying. You're claiming, I am that. Otherwise, you get what you want, more wanting. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. So, and you said seeking you shall find. So no matter what it is that we're seeking, whether we realize that that's what we're seeking or not, you shall find.
Absolutely. You got it. That's it. That's what you find. What are you looking for? And you see, the thing of it is that we are looking for all the time, but we're not really looking aware very often. And that's what we need to do, to be aware. Because if you're aware, then you're more awake. And that's what it is about. It's about awakening. And you start awakening when your thoughts are under your control. That's something that must be done. We're all going to have to answer for our self-talk. And we think, well, who knows? I didn't tell anybody. But you see, you know. And if you know, that's it. If you know, you're the one who suffers it. So make it lovely and of good report, because that's what we're told the whole drama is, isn't it?
It is. It is. So as we're thinking about contemplation and meditation, should that be a struggle? Because many people are making this hard.
Oh, no. It should be the easiest thing. Isn't it easy on the whole body to think things that are lovely and of good report? And doesn't it kind of tense up when you're thinking of things that are not lovely and of not good report? You see, because your body listens to you. And if you're having problems with your body, well, it's listening to you. What are you saying that is upsetting it? Because that's what actually happens. But nobody wants to believe that they're at fault. And you're all at fault. That's the whole thing. You're choose because you're given choose this day, and it is this day, today, and every day, isn't it?
It is.
And you're doing it, isn't it?
We are.
That's it. And you know, it says he laughs, and he does. He laughs because it was so right in front of him, and he couldn't see it. See, that's where we're all at. It's right there. You're told that I'm with you always. I will never leave you. That's God's promise to you. And if he's never going to leave you, like I said, that kind of sounds like immortality to me. Doesn't it?
It does. So, you know, it goes back to, we're talking about meditation and contemplation being complicated, but, you know, we're told to be in the world, but not of the world. But it's hard being in the world not to focus on the world about us. Would you agree?
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. That's the body. You know, the body makes demands on you, and you can't shut them off. So you always gotta have that on your mind. But if you start looking for time to contemplate and meditate, and you're really serious about doing it, it'll be like finding another person, because you won't watch so much TV, and you won't listen to so much of this and so much of that. You'll sit in the quiet, and you'll contemplate and meditate. And if you only do so for a time, you'll start seeing the benefits, and then you're on. That's it. But understand, you're always on. But you have to recognize it for the better rather than meddle with the worst. Because that's what people do. They sit alone and they intend to contemplate what it is that they've heard, that they have agreed with. But all these other little thoughts steal in. See, it does take practice. You're not going to sit down and start contemplating and suddenly be meditating, and it isn't going to happen that way. Although you are meditating more than you really realize, but you're not paying attention to it. So it could be anything, and that's what you could be experiencing, anything. And then you wonder, why me, why this, and why now? It all matches up as you think you are. And contemplation and meditation will have you make an order of your mindsets, because your mindsets, they operate automatically. You see, when any situation comes up, the right metaphor will come right out there. So you want to make sure you drop the ones that are no longer serving you, because people for years and years and years, they carry on a tradition and they don't even know what the tradition was about. Don't you agree?
I do. So in speaking of contemplation and meditation, do you suggest when someone's beginning this process that they have an agenda? And what I mean by that, should they have a meditation, a script, an object, or something that they can focus on? Or do you suggest that they just go in empty?
Well, actually, that's what I really practice. I just go in empty. But then I've been doing this for a long time. But if they want to know how to block it out, all you have to do is just think on things that are lovely and of good report. I mean, certainly you can think on something that's lovely, and then all you do is what has your focus, you see, has your life. What has your attention has your life. What are you giving your attention to? See, if you're giving your attention to things that you don't want and you don't like, you're dreaming of monsters you have to handle. And then when you can't handle it, well, then you go to God and you ask Him to handle it. But He gave you, choose this day. And you're doing so. In Scripture, it's equated with praying, isn't it?
It is.
And you're told you're praying ceaselessly. So if you watch what you're doing, you're paying attention to what you're doing, then you know what the future holds for you. You don't have to guess about it. You know. And that's what you're given. You're given to know. Be still and know that I'm God. There it is. If you won't do that, then the rest of it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't. And I like that you said, and you know what your future holds for you. If we keep doing the same thing that we're doing, the only thing we can get is the same results. Is that correct?
Right. That's right. You're absolutely right. Isn't that a definition of crazy?
It's definitely a definition of crazy. Some would say insanity, but that's definitely the definition. And many people don't realize that they're operating out of an insane mind. And that's most of us. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been there, done that. I think my first 40 or so years, I was on the other side of the curtain. But finally, someone opened it for me. And that was the start of it all. And it for me, it happened very slowly because I was operating on lazy-mindedness and double-mindedness and all sorts of things. And it took a long time to weed it out, to drop off, to change my mind, to change my world. But you can do it. You can do it. Contemplation, meditation will let you have the information you need to do it. And we're sharing that with you right here because we have experienced it. We want you to know how to do it. Because when you know how to do it, you will spread it to someone else, and it goes on and on and on and exponentially, and then at one time or another, the whole world will know. But it has to start with the individual, because that's where it really settles in with an individual, and you are an individual. You are a thinking, feeling being. Think feelingly about lovely and of good report, whatever that is to you. Be so now. Wouldn't you say?
I would, and I want to go back to what you just said because it was actually in my spirit to bring the subject up. You said it has to begin with the individual. Most of the time when we learn these principles, these tools, what we think is, how can I use these to change somebody else or to manipulate someone else or to bring my perfect mate into my life as opposed to me being transformed so that I can attract that which I want to attract. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was me. That was me. You know, see, I was looking at it at first when I heard it as just me. And that someone's even said, well, sounds like what you're saying is me. And yes, I am saying me. Because you, the individual, first person, is to know and is given to know if you'll just calm down, be still, and know that I'm God with you right here, right now. It's really that simple. But I didn't say it was easy because we're so conditioned to the ongoing drama. As DeCarlo was saying, it's knowing for yourself first person. We need to know first person or we won't act accordingly. And you're given to do so if you will accept the idea of just be still and know that I'm right here with you. That's what you make it.
Absolutely. So as we're talking about contemplation, meditation, the biggest thing that I find is staying on course. And what I mean by that, many of us have never made a decision for the thing that we truly want to manifest or who we truly want to be. So since we have no picture, or since we have identified that self that we want to embody, we're all over the place. And what I'm saying is that we have to begin, like Mr. Lindell stated, we have to get focused on what it is when we're stepping into contemplation, meditation, of who it is that we want to be. See, once you get a picture of who it is that you want to be, subconscious mind, heaven and hell are going to move out the way to bring about your manifestation of your desired self. Would you agree?
That's it. And even though it does sound simple, believe me, it carries a lot of weight. It'll be as you desire it to be if you will stand and see the victory. That's what we're told to do. Once you state it, stand and see it completed. And that's what you're to do. You're told, Neville would tell us all the time, go to the end, go to the end, go to the end. And I'd say, oh yes to that. But did I do it? No, I didn't. And that's the reason why it took me so long to actually understand what was being given to me. Just handed right out here. I hope that's what we're doing, don't you?
I do. And I like that you said, oh yes, but our actions reflect no. Would you agree?
Yeah. That's it. See, that's the two has to agree, right?
Absolutely.
if any two agree. So in other words, you have been handed the reins. You're the one who is given choose this day. So even though God is with you, He's given you choose this day. And He will complete whatever it is you're doing in your world of experiencing. So you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. And what are you thinking? And who needs to know but you? And all you have to do to find out is just sit down and think about what you think about generally most of the time. And right there, you'll find out what's either aiding you or what's not. And then you go from there. I think self-examination is actually the word, isn't it?
It is the word. It really is. And I like that you stated that, the two that agree is thought and action. Many people, we think that we can think a thing, but act another way, and we wonder why manifestation isn't taking place. But it's because we don't have an agreement. And I like that you often say, your actions truly tell me what you think. Would you agree?
That's it. That simple. As you think you are. You can't hide it. You can try to cover it up, but as you think you are. And that's what you call a personality. Isn't that what it is?
It is.
I mean, you're setting yourself up, or you're setting yourself free. Every moment you're thinking feelingly about anything. You're either aiding yourself or you're setting up more barriers. Because, see, it's as you think you are. Not all the hearsay that's going on around you, not your environment, but what you say. Because it's you planning your own future moment by moment, because what you're thinking feelingly about right now is not falling into the past. You're actually putting your future together moment by moment as you think you are, you do, you have, you be. And all you have to be, all of that, is just a thinking, feeling human being. And that's what you are. And that's what you're given. Choose this day. That's a story, isn't it?
That is the story. And it goes back to what you stated earlier, self-examination. See, that's the whole purpose of contemplation and meditation. The only way that you're going to discover your true identity, the God within you, is through self-examination. Would you agree?
Yes. It's all you have to do is just be still and just go over what you're thinking, feelingly, suggesting to yourself. And when you see the negative attitude, there it is. It's right there, right in front of you. And all you have to do is to sweep it aside, is turn it over and see what actually is lovely and a good report about everything. Because actually, you have to keep in mind, there is only God. He's all things to all. And that means A-L-L, all. So you have a say. You have a valid say. And God promised that you had a valid say. And He's following what you're saying with you. I suffer with you, but you behold me not. There it is. There it is. When you say that's it?
I would say that that's it. And as God is suffering with you, and you're looking at the world about you, and you're dealing with negative attitudes, what you have to decide is who you want to be, in spite of what's going on in the world about you. Because what happens is, once you make that change, your world will change. And sometimes that will mean that those negative attitudes will disappear. They'll move on to other environments that are more conducive for them, because they won't be able to grow in your positive environment. Would you agree?
Consider what's said. It's as you said it, I said it, as you think you are. If nobody's twisting your arm, then you're choosing aware or unaware. That's the only question we have, is how it is that people are not aware of all the blessings that are already operating in their favor, which is the lovely and good things that we should think about. And why not? Because what you think upon, all things produce after their own kind. So if you're thinking lovely thoughts, you have a lovely future. But how often are you off thinking of lovely and a good report, and how often are you upset? That's the scale. You know, it's either running properly or else it's getting overloaded and it's about ready to blow up. And that's what happens. Things blow up around you, and you don't know what to do about it. You don't have to do anything about it. You are the cause of everything happening in your world of experiencing, good or otherwise. And is that not exactly what God is telling you that it is? Wouldn't you say?
I would. And it goes back to, I was having a conversation with a young man recently, and he was dealing with some health issues. And he says, I tried contemplation meditation, and he says, I did it in the morning, and then I started getting this buildup in my chest of saliva, and I got distracted. And it's much like Peter when Jesus called him out to the water. At first, Peter was walking on the water, and then he let the things going on around him distract him, and he started going under. And I told the young man, I said, listen, you can't allow, even the buildup of saliva or things going on in your body to dictate how you're to think. So even when you're experiencing that moment of upset or whatever, say, every day and every way I'm getting better and better. You affirm what it is that you want, not where you're at the present moment. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I can't even imagine what it was I actually experienced when I first started out doing this, because standing up in front of people giving the talk was not that was not in my avenue at all. But I was so built up about what I had heard and thought that's what the whole world needs. Why are they rejecting their own salvation when it's right in front of them? You're told by God himself, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. So he's already said, yay. If he's already agreed to it, then he's there. Where are you? Wouldn't you say, where are you?
Absolutely. And I like that you said that they're rejecting their own salvation. Neville said to you, why are you denying yourself, or you're not on your own side? But it all comes down to the same thing. When we start doing negative self-talk, we are rejecting the thing that we say that we want to manifest or draw within our world. Would you agree?
That's the double talk, isn't it?
It is a double talk. From a double-minded person.
Well, then the traitor's right with you. Put him to rest. That's all. Look, if something isn't serving you, if you have mindsets that are not actually serving you, why? See, because like I said, they act on automatic. Now, maybe there was a time when such an attitude served a purpose, but does that mean that you own it forever? No. They're to be shed, just like the sheep shed their wool. It needs to be combed away at times because it builds up and it would cause them great uncomfortableness in the summer. So it has to be taken off. Just like you have to take off these negative attitudes or they just swallow you up. They're not serving you because you're not paying attention to the fact that you're being served by them. In other words, you're either choosing or you're being chosen for. Wouldn't you say
Absolutely.
Kind of cutting right to the edge there, right there.
You said that they have to shear, like when we're talking about shearing a sheep, you have to shear old attitudes. And the problem is, once you shear them, you have to continuously build yourself up. This is not a one-time thing that you do and you say, I did it once and it, now it's not working. This has to, as I told the young man, this has to become a lifestyle. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, that's what everyone's looking for, a new lifestyle, a change, right?
Absolutely.
It's right with you. He told you, change your mind, change your world. That's all you have to do. I mean, come on, he said, test me now herewith and see if I will not open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. You don't even have room to receive it all. Was that what he said?
That's exactly what he said.
I mean, there it is. You want to know how to succeed. He just handed it to you. But it's a first-person present tense experience. You may know about it. I know what that means because for years I got by on the fact, well, I know that. I didn't know that. I hardly even knew about it, but that's where everybody starts. You don't know about it, and then suddenly somebody says something, and it goes ding, ding, and you know you had a knowledge you never had before. It fades away. It's gone because you won't open it and quicken it. Because it happened to me so many times. Because you don't focus at the moment. You're always too busy doing this, that, or the other, and I know about that. So it takes you minding your own business, and your attention is your business. I mean, if you were in school, your business is paying attention, right, to what's being taught. You're being taught all the time by what you're viewing in your world of what has been done. Because the whole world on the without, remember, we're told that's secondhand. That's where that contemplation and meditation comes in. The people who do that are the people who build the big bridges and all the big structures, and the rest of us don't really feel ourselves to be just as important as they are. That's the nonsense that the world's been crippled by forever, actually, I guess, isn't it?
It is, and most of us don't even know that we're victims, as it were, of that mindset. And it's, many people are really surviving off of secondhand oxygen. They're surviving off of someone else's belief, their experience, but they haven't had the experience for themselves. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Isn't that what the coming of age is? You start thinking for yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, I thought that was actually the principle of that idea. That you'd start actually thinking for yourself. That doesn't mean thinking negative about your parents because of how they thought, or your guardian or whomever, but that you now have a choice as to what you will think. Use that choice to think on what you're looking for, because that like throws the light switch for it to be looking for you. What you're looking for is looking for you. So if you're looking for a bad time, look out. You don't know you're on all the time. And that's something you should really be aware of. You're on all the time. Not only that, every word you speak is taken into culmination to make up your world of experiencing. Every word. That was that one was really a hard one for me. It still is, really. What you say?
I would, and I like that you stated, and I want to go back to, you said, what you're looking for is looking for you. Now, we said that, what you're seeking is seeking you. If a person is looking for a reason to be unhappy, what you're going to find is 10,000 reasons to be unhappy.
What you're looking for is looking for you.